Hey guys, welcome back to Indie Keeping. I'm your host, Indie Keeper. Today, I have a pretty exciting video for you guys. It's going to be a super mega ultra 3x3 comparison. So without further ado, let's begin.
Starting off with the best brand in my opinion, we have Moyu. I'm just going to do a quick rundown of each puzzle and explain what I think about it and if you should get it or not, and if there's a better alternative for that cube. The first cube we have the Huaming TG. Most people know this cube was a disaster and it really only fits to a very specific turner. I don't think this cube is really worth getting, as it's $64 for the most expensive version and $48 for the least expensive version. I think there are better Moyu cubes and you should really try this cube if you're thinking about getting it. However, I don't think this cube is worth it, and in 2026 I think there are better cubes. The Moyu Aolong Super. This cube is really nice and really tactile. You can feel every part of the turn as you make it, and there isn't really a lot of open space. I would recommend this cube, however, it doesn't really feel that different from a Super V2, and I think there are better cubes that Moyu produces. However, this isn't a bad cube to pick up, it's just kind of expensive, and it doesn't really have its own personality. The regular Huelong version 11, I think this puzzle is very nice and I like it a lot. However, if you're willing to spend 10 extra dollars, you can get the Ferrocore V11, which I think is very much worth it. This is a 20 magnet ball core modified with springs, which I like a lot. However, I'd say the Ferrocore is again better, and I'll get to that later. I like this puzzle, but if you can cop the extra 10 bucks, you'll like the Ferrocore more. The RS3M V5 ball core, this is a modified one, but pretty much any RS3M V5 with a ball core is going to be your best bet. This is the best budget cube that they produce, I feel like. This one has matte plastic and like I said is modified, but you can't go wrong with an RS3M V5. I feel like a lot of people will like this puzzle because of how it feels, and yeah, you can never go wrong. It's a really good cube. I have two WRM V9s. This is a WRM version 9 modified with springs, and this is a WRM version 9 with maglev. I think both cubes present their strengths and their weaknesses. They're very much old at this point, and I wouldn't really recommend them. However, I did use the Huelong version 9 with springs at my last comp, and to great success, so I think they are still very much competitively viable. They're just feeling their age. I have two Super version 2s. This is the 18th anniversary edition, and this is a regular Super version 2. I like the regular Super version 2, and I think you should pick it up. I think the cheapest one is the best one because maglev makes it too fast. The plastic on the 18th anniversary edition does feel very nice. However, the price being $100 is not worth it by any means, and I think you can buy a cheaper cube for better, being this cube. Last but not least, the Ferrocores. I have two Ferrocores here. This is the first one I ever got, and this is just a newer Ferrocore that I bought like a couple weeks ago. The reason why I'm showing you the oldest Ferrocore that I have is to show you the wear and tear and how it sounds compared to a newest one. This is the sound of the old Ferrocore. And this is the new Ferrocore. I just wanted to show you with wear and tear that the puzzle can feel different and change. However, it's not a bad cube and I still really like to solve on it. And the Ferrocore version 1 is probably one of my longest standing mains and my favorite cube. I think this cube has around 30 to 20,000 solves on it, which is kind of crazy to me. In essence, I don't think you can go wrong, and this is still a very competitively viable and good cube. Last but not least for Moyu, we have the Ferrocore version 2. This cube is quickly growing on me and I'm really liking it a lot. At first I really didn't like the matte finish, but it wore away with a couple hundred solves, and I think this puzzle is definitely worth the price. I bought a UV version, so when it comes in I'll be making an extensive review going over what I really think about it. But like I said, I really enjoy this puzzle and I think the majority of people who buy it will like it. So definitely pick this up if you have the means. It's amazing. Next up we have GAN. I'll quickly run over these puzzles as I've stated what I've thought in the past, and I don't want to be repetitive with what I'm saying. The GAN 12 is great. I don't think it's worth 60 bucks, but if you can buy it on a discount, I definitely love this puzzle still, and I can still get my average times on it. I really like the tactile feeling, and I think it's still very competitively viable even 5 years after being released. The GAN 16 is an overpriced mess, but I love this puzzle, and I think I'm starting to really adapt to the turning style. It feels really good in my hand, and the tactility that you get from the feeling is really good. I think if you can set this puzzle up nicely and probably do a couple hundred solves to break it in and then do a couple thousand more, you'll really enjoy this puzzle. It's just very much an acquired taste, and it took me a while to really actualize its potential. The GAN version 100 is a lot better than the 16 because of the price difference, and I do really like this puzzle. I'd say it's slightly worse in performance than the 16, but because of the price difference, it just makes this cube automatically better. And I think with Super Honey inside of it, because it has maglev, it feels really nice. However, in my opinion, the best cube out of all of these is the Leap version of the V100. It's $30 compared to the $85 version of the GAN 16. It has springs inside of it. The tactility is very much the same, and I think I can get equal times on this that I can on my 16. So in total, I think if I'm going to recommend any of these puzzles, it's going to be this one because it's great, and I think everyone should get it just in case they don't release it next year. Next up, we've got the legends themselves, YJ. First, I'll start off with the oldest cube in this bunch is the MGC Beta. I really liked the Beta when it came out, and I've had a complicated relationship with it. This cube has definitely been interesting, and I definitely had to find tensions that I enjoyed. However, after fiddling with it and really getting to know the cube, setting it up, and finding stuff that I like about it, I definitely can say I enjoy this cube. I don't think this cube is the best out of this, but I would say that if you want to pick it up, the spring version isn't that bad. You just have to really fiddle with your tensions and get it to a point that you like. The Meta really surprised me when it came out. I liked it a lot more than the Beta, and I still hold that opinion now. It's probably one of my favorite cubes to play with, and I think the shell of the puzzle makes it really easy to mod. I think turning it feels really, really nice as it gives you a really tactile response, and it's a feeling I haven't really felt in a while. I do really, really like the Meta, and I think it's great. However, I'd say that the Sigma is better than the Meta. I really like the Sigma, and I think the Cubicle did a really, really good job with it. I think the Sigma is probably the best cube that YJ has made, and I think that if you want to spend money, $30 isn't bad to spend on this or the GAN version 100 Leap. However, I think the Sigma will fit a different turner than the Leap and vice versa. So if you like a blocky cube that is kind of forgiving, I think the Sigma is definitely going to be your best bet, and I think it's the best cube out of all of these. Here's QiYi. QiYi, I have two cubes that are kind of old and at this point irrelevant. QiYi hasn't produced a puzzle that I've liked in a very long time, and for that reason, I only really have two cubes from this brand that I sort of enjoy. The TV3 is very old at this point and kind of lacks character. You can't go wrong by picking this cube up, but it won't get you like amazing times. I think this cube is very out of date. The only reason it's in this list is because it still kind of has a place in my heart. However, like I said, I think there are better cubes now. The TV4 fixed some of the production issues that the TV3 had, but I don't think it's any better. I think in total, you're better off with any of the other brands I listed. And unfortunately, QiYi has kind of fallen out of favor in my opinion. I've tried some of their newer puzzles, but I don't really like them. Next up, we have Dayan. Dayan is kind of the same with QiYi. I haven't really bought any of their new puzzles because I don't really like them. I mean, I think they make very good cubes, or at least good feeling cubes, but in performance, they're not that great. The Zanchi was the newest flagship cube that they produced, and it was kind of a gimmick, and to be honest, not that fun. The Dayan Guhong Pro was really good, and I liked it a lot, and it still is very good. I think it's their best budget cube, or best cube in general, and I really recommend this to a lot of people. It's not the best, and it won't get you stellar times, but it's okay for a lot of people, and that makes it great. I don't think you can go wrong with this cube, and I think if anyone picks it up, they'll like it. This is the version before the newest one, but like I said, they're pretty much the same cube, so get this one to the other one, it really doesn't matter, but I think this cube is great. Last up, we have the Hudong. I don't even know why I have it in here. It's kind of just a placemat for any miscellaneous brand. It's okay, it doesn't really agree with my turning style, but you can't really go wrong with this cube. I mean, it's decent at this point. This is kind of just a miscellaneous sector because I didn't really have that, so I wanted to add it. In this sector, we have the Vin Nova, which I just want to tell you, don't buy it. I bought it, I hated it, and returned it. It's kind of bad. I don't know of any other miscellaneous brand. I mean, I've tried the Dolphin Cube, and don't get it, not worth it again. Also, the ES Cube Air is bad, and I don't recommend that puzzle either. In general, this category is just to kind of tell you guys what cubes not really to get because they don't really matter. I think GAN and Moyu are on the top of this list, and I think if you want a puzzle, go for GAN or Moyu, or YJ at this point, because YJ's been, knocking out bangers. But yeah, that's my opinion. I hope you enjoyed.
Hey guys, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great day. Stay safe and take care. Bye-bye.